Chapter 5 Democrats. Democrats are prophets of doom. They specialize in it. They have made it a veritable science. Crises are the way through which they seek to control people. As we said above, to them the sky is always falling. If they don't have a crisis handy, they'll create one, or try to convince us there is one whether there is or not, e.g., climate change. Rather than using illegal means to steal it, they believe they won the 2020 election because of the Chinese virus pandemic. So they want to keep it going as long as possible. The media propagandists blathered about the virus deaths nonstop. Hospitals were paid to report deaths from any cause as a Chinese virus, also known as the Wu flu, death. According to some healthcare workers, a body comes to a hospital with a gunshot wound to the head. The person is tested, and if signs of the China virus are found, the cause of death is not claimed to be the bullet that blew his brains out. It is reported as death from COVID. Fact check, or disputes this to some extent, but admits that Medicare does pay hospitals more for coronavirus tests. So what does logic tell us? Fact checkers can deny it all day. But if source A pays more than source B for the same thing, what would logic, human nature, and sound business decisions lead us to do? Regardless, the naysaying fact checkers are also suspected of misrepresenting facts because they are supported by leftist political groups, including George Soros, and deceit is their, and Satan's, hallmark. They have gone to the extent of mandating vaccines which they promised would prevent infection. It doesn't. They said a vaccinated person could not get or spread the virus. They can. They said vaccinated people are protected from reinfection for many months. They aren't. They said unvaccinated people were a public health threat. But if vaccinated people were subjected to unvaccinated people and vaccines prevent the infection, why worry about getting subjected to unvaccinated people? They started criticizing people who refused the vaccine and punished them by firing them from their jobs. Do you recognize Saul Alinsky in this yet? One thing is sure, however, somebody somewhere was making a ton of money off of this so-called pandemic when the Biden administration provided millions of free vaccines, millions of free test kits, masks, etc. Not much in this world is actually free. All those millions of freebies were given away by Biden in the name of the pandemic, all of which cost the American taxpayer. But saying they are free is only another deceit. The doom and gloom Democrats continue to spend money and deplete our national treasury, printing money in the trillions to pay for their drunken spending spree. Who is it that benefits by bankrupting America? Who is it that wants America out of the way? Yes, we'll learn more about them. But the short answer, again, is China. Isn't there a lot of evidence the Biden name is synonymous with influence peddling? Isn't there a Biden or two doing business with China and receiving millions from the Chinese Communist Party? Are there any dots there to connect? The Democrats also promised a lot of things they don't even believe in themselves, thus proving their shenanigans are simply meant to control, not help we the people. For example, the mask mandates. Paper masks accomplished nothing. But look at how the entire world was masking up during the COVID scare. The size of the holes between fibers of the masks is far larger than the size of the virus. They also don't fit your face to offer the protection of a hazmat suit. So you are still breathing in ambient air. Dr. Flip Flop, Anthony Fauci, advocated wearing a mask. Then 2 masks, and how many would it take for masks to actually work? 3, 4. After their propaganda machine blathered incessantly about wearing masks, Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, her nephew, California Governor Gavin Newsom, and Eric Swalwell, DCA, showed up at public restaurants without a mask, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez showed up in Florida dancing and partying in a public place without a mask. Jesus himself spoke about hypocrites, didn't he? They keep reporting virus-connected deaths. but continue importing diseased third world people without testing them for communicable diseases like they tested immigrants at Ellis Island in the early 1900s. Worse yet is that they denied people access to life-saving medicines like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, which have been around for decades. So there is no patent protection. They are cheap and effective, and Big Pharma can't make as much money on them as they can by selling what they wanted to distribute, and have the federal government pay for it with tax dollars. The list goes on. But the solution to this, which we need to learn immediately, is this. Do not vote for a Democrat for any public office. Not now. And do not let CNN, the Communist News Network, and MSNBC, the Marxist Socialist No-Brain Channel, think for you. The leftist Democrats are trying to take over the entire election process and achieve permanent power. They tried to take advantage of their political monopoly on the government and meant to abolish the Senate filibuster so they don't have to get 60 votes to pass laws they wanted to ram through before they lost their majority advantage. E.g., codifying abortion into law instead of a Supreme Court opinion, making states out of Washington, Dist. of Colombia and Puerto Rico to give the Democrats 4 more senators, legalize illegal aliens, give illegal aliens voting rights, federalize all elections, force us to buy electric vehicles,